Social media is changing, especially with Sora 2 coming out and how easy it is to make videos with just a prompt. I, I'm not on social media very much at all, and YouTube's maybe the only one that I'm on. But I can see that with the recent changes and how Sora 2 is kind of permeating everywhere, that maybe if you've clicked on this video that you are on the fence. If not, you've already quit social media. I quit social media some time ago. It's been, between 7 to 10 years since I did that. And today I just want to talk about why I quit it, when I quit, and then hopefully I can kind of tie it back to what is going on today and how it could affect you. And if you're on the fence, maybe you can think about quitting social media also. My name is Abhishek. On this channel, I like to talk about my life advice and kind of how I got to where I'm at, and how I've done things to claw back my attention and focus. And I hope that helps you claw back some of that attention and focus for yourself. So, when I released the Sora 2 videos, which if you haven't seen, there's a link here. A friend of mine started sending me videos that their family members have been sending them that are pure AI slop. They're really just sensational videos that are, in the kind of a vertical format. And they said their family members love seeing the videos. They know it's AI slop, but they can't get enough of it. And I feel like that if you've clicked on this video, you may be on that camp where you are either way too interested in these AI videos, like they have really caught your attention, and somewhere you feel like you've kind of lost a little bit of, agency in that process, or you're disgusted by it and you're looking for ways to reduce that in your life. Now, if you wait for the social media companies, Meta or whoever else, YouTube, to reduce the amount of slop that shows up in your feed, that's going to be a long wait, because if it is getting engagement, they're going to keep it. It's just how it is. I'm just speculating here. Obviously, this is still new. But I think there's been decisions probably been already made. We're probably behind the curve, in that you and I are probably behind the curve when it comes to these kind of topics. So I think if these videos are sensational enough, which they seem like they are, the AI videos, AI slop, and that people are staying on the platform because these videos are in front of them, even if they hate it, I think the company is going to keep those videos around, so you may not have a way around it, right? Because we've seen that we don't, outrage is another one where you and I may not be seeking outrage on social media platforms, but we know outrage keeps people on the platform more. So it's very counterintuitive, but really what gets people to stay on the platform longer and longer is what stays. So I quit social media, between 7 to 10 years ago, and I, did it at various stages, and that's what I want to mention today, and I hope that helps you make up your mind if you haven't already, or at least get some inspiration to do a few small things that could maybe bring a little more ease and comfort in your life and take away this constant pull of social media that has probably got our hooks in our brains. So the first change that I started happening, and here's really I started noticing this, and that is maybe the most important part, is I started noticing that on Instagram, and this is, I'm going to date myself here, but this is going back probably 10 years ago. I'm recording this 2025, so this is probably going to 2014, 2015. Maybe even before that, maybe 2012 also, where I started noticing that Instagram was going away from look at this cool thing to look at me. That shift started happening around that 2010, 2012 mark, I think. Again, I obviously don't have any data to show that, but that's when I started noticing it. That's when it started really affecting me. And I started sort of revolting against that that mentality that was happening. So that the narcissist part of our brain started coming out, and the narcissists who are in the world started responding to how the platform was really working for them. So that really affected me, because I don't really have a lot of patience for people who are narcissists, unfortunately. So, or maybe fortunately, I don't know. So that started happening, and that was maybe the first sort of marker for me to start looking at this a little critically. And over time, and by the way, when I was thinking about this, I remembered that back in the day, Instagram had this denim UI, where the UI looked like denim, and every photo was just a square. And this is going to be me being the good old days. I'm not saying that. I just seen that it was a good memory that came out, because Instagram was fun back then, because everything was on a timeline. And that's my next point there, is that we went from timeline to newsfeed. So the way the timeline used to work is that the most recent photo that was posted from the people you follow showed up first, and then you scroll, and then the next photo was the next recent, the next recent, next recent. It was always in a chronological order, in a most recent to next recent. And that changed to the news feed, where you started seeing photos and posts on Instagram that I guess the algorithm felt you wanted to see at that time. That did not work out well for me, because I would see posts that were days or weeks older showing up, and I was like, I've seen this before, and it would still show up. So that was the big change, is that I could tell when I'd seen something and when I'd not. And if I'd seen something, it would have been like gone from my feed some way. So that started happening. And the biggest impact was that it was like a few months went by when they changed from timeline to newsfeed, which, by the way, there's no way for us to switch back to timeline, right? So that could be an easy thing they give us. The social media companies just give us a way to just use the switch to sorted by timeline, which they won't do that, because then we could get off the platform faster. They know that the newsfeed keeps us there, the curated newsfeed in the order and all that. So what happened is, months would go by, and I'd say, like, man, I haven't seen from this one friend who used to like post their lunches or whatever every time, and then they just like went off my feed. What happened? Are they okay? So I'd go search for them in the search section and find them and see that they've been posting regularly all this time. It's just that somehow Instagram's algorithm decided to kick them out of my news feed. And I started realizing that we were being divided as a community by this. And this is maybe the early stages of how the polarization today works. We are incredibly polarized in politics especially, but just in ideas and in communities. And some of that polarization, I think, was starting here, where I basically stopped having a connection to somebody who I maybe didn't get to see every day or every week, but I at least got to keep in touch with them through the photos they would post, and then that went away. So that really was not okay for me, because it was dividing us already. And at that point, I really stopped posting much. I was doing another YouTube channel back then. This is probably going now to 2016. That I was using Instagram as a way to like promote my channel, which was about woodworking. And I eventually stopped the channel and stopped posting. I just got disillusioned by all of that and felt it was really not working out. It was very much, I guess I was turning into the, hey, look at me, the very, very thing that I hated in the first place. So that's when I quit Instagram. So I actually went back on my computer, and my last post was, let's see here, about 400 something weeks ago. Here you go. It says, July 14th, 2016. Sorry, July 14th, 2016. So 400 something weeks ago is when I made a post. And then since then I did go back to Instagram. So I'll, disclaimer there, I went into some street photography. And it turned out that Instagram is really the medium where street photographers post their videos, and that's where post their photos. That's where I was looking for some inspiration for my own street photography, and I was hoping if I post photos there, that I would get some feedback from other street photographers and maybe get to meet other people in the community. But I eventually stopped doing street photography. This is last year, so I came back for a few months and I was gone again, and that was it. So that was my stint with Instagram. They make you get the app. You cannot post from the website. So there's a lot of little claws and hooks and stuff that they put in you, which I did not like. It wasn't really, it felt like it was no longer for a photographer, it was really for the app itself. So I quit Instagram at that time, and I haven't really gone back. I keep my profile though, but I removed all the apps from my phone, and that's the thing I did about 7 to 10 years ago. Is I deleted all social media apps from my phone, and the main thing I did that with, because Instagram I was not using, but Facebook I was still using because I had a lot of friends and family on Facebook that I was close to, and I was talking to more often, and I could make the post and have comments and things like that. So, and I was using the Messenger as well. But I deleted the apps from my phone, and if you are trying to find maybe a first step to cure, get away from social media yourself, deleting the apps could be a good start. So just get them off your phone and just use them on the computer. I had a desktop computer back then, and that's where I would use the app. I would get on Facebook.com and log in and kind of just do what I needed, look at what's happening, and maybe make a post and get out. Now, about 7 years ago, Myanmar happened, and that's when I ended up deleting my Facebook. So what happened is, in the country of Myanmar, the Facebook partnered with whoever was selling cell phones and cell service there, and basically sold phones to people with Facebook preloaded in the phones. And if you basically got a new account with that phone provider, you got a Facebook account with it, something like that. I'm not sure exactly how the mechanism worked, but all of a sudden, nearly overnight, the entire country of Myanmar, at least people who bought smartphones, had a Facebook account, and they were on Facebook. And the polarization, the separation of community that was already bothering me was on full force at that time. John Oliver did a fantastic post about it, but what ended up happening is there was the polarization became between two groups of people that were all maybe a little bit already against each other, and that led to a really bad genocide in the country with the Rohingyas, I believe, and people got displaced and all kinds of stuff. Now, why did that affect me so much? I mean, there have been other things that have happened, right? This is now 7 years ago. This is before Frances Haugen was the whistleblower who talked about all the research that Facebook was already doing that knew was harming young women, young girls, and they kept going with the apps. This is before all of that ever came out. The reason this affected me is because I grew up in India, and anytime I looked at the map of India, I saw Myanmar right there on the side, which was Burma back then. So that is a country that I could kind of point to on a map. If you're living in the United States, that's like looking at the map of the United States and seeing Mexico right there, seeing the Caribbean islands right there. So when I saw the news, it really affected me personally, because this is a country that I knew where it was. Like it was close to home, frankly, because I grew up in India. And that was really the last straw for me with Facebook. I ended up deleting my account completely and completely getting off of Facebook. Now, since then, I have a throwaway account that I use just in case I have to get on a marketplace, or there's a group that I need to join for whatever reason. But again, it's probably been a year since I've ever gone on Facebook. So that's when I left Facebook, and that was really my biggest thing. So there's been a lot of history about this, and it's not like Facebook has changed their ways since then, because after that incident, I don't think, well, I don't know how Facebook was held responsible. Frances Haugen stuff came out a few years ago, so it looked like Facebook hasn't really changed their ways, and they're really going after more engagement, more views, more advertisement, which means really some people get hurt. So there's been all of this already in the history of social media, of really just Meta and Instagram. And now I think it's just going to get worse with AI slop taking over, because if we need to do something sensational, and it could be more than just a cat video, it could be something even more politically polarizing, it could be even something more socially polarizing, pitting neighbors against each other just because they look different or feel different or talk different or have different views about the world. I feel like that polarization is just part and parcel of what is coming our way, and if you're on the fence with Sora, AI, and how all of this is going to change, here's some inspiration, maybe even permission, if that's what you're looking for, from me to quit your accounts. I'm not saying, all the way just go to deleting them completely. Like I said, I have not deleted my Instagram, but the only time I log into it is when I am on a laptop, and that's only when maybe my wife or a friend has sent me a funny video or a picture or something like that, or if I'm kind of looking up on an old friend that I'm going to try to contact and meet, and I know that they are usually on Instagram. So I did that when I was in Vegas one time, and I knew somebody was living in Vegas, had moved there, and I use Instagram to contact them. So I use it as a tool now. But delete the apps from your phone. That's the easiest way to sort of like reduce your draw to using these apps. Go on the computer. That's the only way you can keep that. The only way you can see them, and that should be enough of a step to get you going and kind of start the detoxing process. Because quitting it in one go is never easy. Some people will tell you it can be done, and maybe some people have way more willpower than I do. So I'm going to say just delete the apps and see how it goes. And the main reason all of this was, I guess crystallizing around me is because I was over the years craving more and more long form conversations, more than just 140 characters. And yeah, this is back when Twitter only had 140 characters. I know they've expanded since then, and it's gone crazy. It went crazy left, and now it's going crazy right, and all that stuff. So the long conversation is what I was craving, and I knew I could not have it. I tried, over the years on various media, I've tried having long, deep conversations on Facebook, on Twitter, not on Twitter, but maybe on Instagram a little bit, and none of it has really worked out in the way that it would be effective, I would consider effective. The only way I found having long conversations is sitting across the table from somebody, and again, that is not always possible. You can't meet all those people all the time, which is probably why I'm here doing this, talking into a camera, and you are doing this, which is listening to me from behind a screen, but maybe this is the closest I can come to a long-form conversation. I mean, I'm probably going upwards of 15 minutes here, and I appreciate if you've come this far and you're hearing it here. So I'm glad for you to stick around. Thank you. So this is how I quit social media. This is deleting the apps, and then the ethical, moral reasons I had when news was happening around me. I will do another video after this where I talk about what happened when I quit social media. So this is what happened to me, what happened to my life, how did it change. Spoiler: I did not suddenly become a millionaire and become a monk or anything like that. I still have a normal life. I still have a job. All of those things never change. So, but there have been some very meaningful changes, and I'll talk about that in the next video. Thank you for watching so far, and I'll see you in the next one.